In a world where corporate investigations don't go through and other stuff happens like next gen gaming, you got Neon Pocket Dimension Podcast. This is a weekly podcast, a show where we talk all things nerdy and fun, where you can nerd out on anything that you love, whether that's bread, burritos, alcohol, video games, Marvel, whatever you want. You know what I'm saying? It's an inclusive place.
Bread nerds.
Bread nerds. We had one on earlier. It was a couple weeks ago. That was good times.
Oh my
my
God.
name is Gage, aka Luke Shot First on all the things. I am joined just by one person today. It's our fearless leader and co-host of the Neon Pocket Dimension podcast and Odd Valley. It is Jacob Jones, aka OM Jesus.
Hello.
Hello.
What do I say into the mic? Can you tell me what I'm supposed to say to the mic?
Sorry, I took your stapler earlier. I'll make sure I get that back to you.
How's it going, man?
Yeah, we're Miguel. We're doing it on a different day. We had some technical difficulties yesterday because Jacob fixed his computer and it kind of had to do some stuff.
I had
some bullshit.
I had a fucking meltdown, so it happened.
It's all good.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes Mercury must be in retrograde or whatever they say.
Wait, which planet is Sagittarius?
I mean, my gut says Saturn, but I could be
You
wrong.
might be right. That actually
Just
no.
Sat. I don't know.
No, you're incorrect. It is. Uh-oh. Did it all crash? Did everything crash?
Oh, oh no, you're all right. You're all right. You're all right.
It's fully broken, everyone. There it is. Oh no, it's not showing. Cool. Let's just stop the video on this one. Let's stop the video on that. There we go. We could do a video on one of them.
Yeah,
it's Jupiter.
one of them.
That's right. It's Jupiter, baby.
Okay,
Just
nice.
Oh, my poor computer.
Is Jupiter in retrograde? I don't know.
It must have been. Something.
Must have been.
Something was in fuck your grade. What'd you say?
Fuck your grade.
Fucker grade?
Stalingrad.
Whoa.
Just word association.
Communism.
It's a good podcasting technique. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, so we had some technical difficulties and then we had to reschedule for a new day. Hence, we don't have a Miguel.
Whoa.
Oh my God, the light in my closet just went off. That's weird. 1 second.
Yeah, and then sometimes a ghost turns on a light.
It's motion censored, so that's why that happened.
We could really see your pores for a second there, dude.
It was like, yeah, I need to clean. I need to do some face washing.
Nah, I'm kidding.
It's all good.
Yeah, you know, Neon
Yeah,
Pocket
so
Dimension.
we're here on a new day, just you and I talking some nerdy stuff. It's gonna be good.
Yeah, getting wet, getting wild, and apparently still cold over on your neck of the woods there. It's like in the 70s
Yeah, I mean,
here. You know what I'm saying?
it's been nice, but I mean, temperate, Pacific Northwest.
The maiden swallow is in the temperate zone. Coconuts are tropical.
By the way, I've thrown up in the chat. Drink check. I know you're not drinking anything too special, but
Whoa. 23 flavors
Sorry.
is not special, sir. 23
You're-
flavors. That's
you're correct.
a lot of flavors.
How dare I? You're
Dr.
right. That's
Pepper.
patented. Yeah, it's good. It's in
D-Pep.
the Library of Congress.
Dr. Pepper? Like the
Yeah,
recipe?
the recipe. Yeah.
What about all the 11 herbs and spices? KFC.
Is that KFC? Yeah, I think that's a secret. Maybe.
Oh. Well, thanks.
Maybe not.
Thanks for nothing, Colonel. Thought you were.
I don't know. I don't
American.
really eat KFC, to be honest.
There was.
Is that blasphemy?
Do you remember when I ate the Double Down for the podcast? That was kind of crazy.
Oh yeah, that was wild.
I don't recommend it. They're fried chicken's all right. Popeyes is better.
I agree.
We usually start this podcast out with talking about food. I feel like.
Isn't it funny? It's just maybe it's because we do it like right around dinner time. It's just on our minds. I don't know.
Yeah, well, it's because I don't eat before we do this. I just have lunch and then that's it.
But anyways, I'm drinking a nice vodka soda, a little lemon in it. Feeling pretty good.
Hell yeah, bro. Um,
Yes.
but what kind of vodka?
Tito's, kind of my
Oh,
go-to.
Tito's. You can barely taste it. That's what's perfect about it.
Yeah, I mean, vodka for
Um,
me is really just maybe if I'm having a martini or something, I'll have something a little more flavorful. But I kind of just like it to be neutral,
yeah, no, I feel that. I like
Yeah.
Tito's. You know, it's good.
Yeah.
The reason I'm not drinking at all tonight is tomorrow there's this beer zombie thing going on. That's a brewery here in Vegas. They're
Oh yeah.
doing like a May the 4th event, Star Wars beer fest type of thing. $50 ticket,
Cool.
all you can drink. And then you get to try a shit ton of beer. And so tomorrow I'm gonna drink literally as much beer as I possibly can. Oh my God, there's a baby.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
baby Maya.
Hey, there's a baby here. Yeah, sorry, she just came to say hi.
Hello,
Come say
baby. Hi, baby.
hi. You can be on mic if you want. Come say what up.
Hi.
This is Maya. This is Maya.
Hi,
Yep,
Maya.
yep. She's
Hi,
chilling.
everyone.
Did she just eat a bunch of food? She just ate a bunch of
Wow,
food.
I'm jealous. I want
Little
some of
milk
that.
drunk.
I'm sure that food's good.
Speaking of drink check.
whatever food's going on over there.
All right, I love you guys. I'll talk to you soon.
Oh, Zaddy Supreme.
Well, that was
over
cool.
here.
That's Maya's first official appearance, other than like maybe some little stream back of the stream
Yeah.
type of stuff.
Yeah, I think she was on she made an appearance on the stream Minecraft Legends when we couldn't get it to work.
Oh yes, that's true. That's true. So that's cool. You're doing a big Star Wars-y beer fest type of thing.
Yeah. So it's my mission tomorrow to drink as many beers as I possibly can. So Friday's gonna be rough. We don't have Odd Valley still. I think we're gonna have an episode at the end of May because we have a lot going on. We're going out of town and stuff. Which, by the way, might not have a podcast one week coming up here, but we'll talk about that in the future. But
yeah, we'll replace it with a stream or something. It'd be cool.
Yeah, or you can try running it.
It's
Who
true.
knows? We'll see.
True.
If you're viewing from the future, you know. But I
I'm
don't
about
know.
to.
I have no
I'm
idea.
about to buy a new. I'm about to buy a new computer. Well, actually, I'm no.
Wow.
My work is just giving me my work computer, which is better than my current computer that I'm using. So it might be able to run it better. We'll see.
Moji Squeeze in the chat said, "I'd like to have a side beer with my hockey. We're getting trashed tomorrow, so I'm debating." See, so right now I'm wearing my Golden Knights t-shirt, and I got the gold color in the background because the Golden Knights are playing right now.
Nice.
Hopefully they win. What else was I gonna say? Oh yeah, it's also my cousin's birthday tomorrow. So and he's turning 21, and so a bunch of my family's going too. So we're all gonna go down there, and I'm gonna get fucking blasted ass drunk. So excited for that.
Sounds like a great time to me. Yeah, totally.
I was kind of tired all day, so Dr. Pepper was calling my name tonight.
Yeah, I was also super tired. Maya didn't really sleep very much last night, so I was just like ultra caffeinated all day. So I'm drinking this nice little vodka soda so that after this I'll just conk out. It'll be great.
Oh yeah, that'll be perfect for you.
So anyways, yeah, this is a show about nerdy things. This is Neon Pocket Dimension. We're gonna get into our titular Wibe new, but one thing I just wanted to say as far as May the 4th goes, since it's tomorrow. I am going to Return of the Jedi, the re-release in theaters.
Nice.
Tomorrow. That's gonna be fun, and it's at like one of those theaters where it's kind of like Alamo Drafthouse where you drink beer and there's food and stuff. So that'll be fun.
Cool, dude. Good. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, me and Aishu and I and a couple of friends. We're gonna have the baby with the grandparents and we're gonna go to it.
Yeah, it sounds like fun, man. So have a blast.
Yeah.
This is gonna be a fun week. Just had to get past yesterday and all the bullshit that happened.
There it is.
But feeling good tonight. Ready to talk about some dark stuff. Well, not really dark.
Some dark stuff.
Just ready to get into it, and really chat about these gaming companies and what's been going on with all of them.
Seriously.
But before we do that,
not to steal Damon's transition. That's Damon Hatfield. It is time for our throw it up in the chat. Why blue? That stands for
Swing.
what you been nerding out on.
Yeah.
And since I'm hosting this week, let's kick it to Jacob for a change and see what you've been nerding out on.
Hey, what have I been nerding out on? We'll start with the Gundam update. Let's see them Gundam updates in chat too. I finished Iron-Blooded Orphans. It's done. I'm complete. So that's another series down. I was going over my spreadsheet like a day or two ago, and like I realized that I'm kind of running out of Gundam shows to watch. There is the new show Witcher Mercury, which is running new episodes, so I'll get back on that. But like,
where can you watch Witcher Mercury if I may ask?
It's on Crunchyroll. It might be on another service as well. I think that Sunrise has their own streaming service. That's the company that makes Gundam. I'm not sure about that exactly, but I know for a fact it is, as the new episodes come out, they are airing on Crunchyroll or whatever. They're available to stream. So I could just jump on there and watch them. The things that I
think I want to watch that show.
It's
cool.
You should definitely check it out.
Yep. And it's pretty standalone is what I've been hearing.
I mean, so a lot of Gundam shows are like, if you wanted to just watch Iron-Blooded Orphans, jump in, watch it. Same thing with 00, same thing with Gundam Wing. A lot of these other series are like parallel universe Gundam shows essentially that, like you don't need to watch any other show. But like if we're talking the Universal Century, you got to start with the Grandpa Gundam show, then you got to watch Zeta, then you got to watch Double Zeta, then you got to watch a few other ones, Hathaway's in there, Thunderbolts is in there, fucking
wow.
On and on.
Yes, exactly.
That's why I did the Universal Century first, to knock out all of the like standard Gundam stuff, which it's great. I'd recommend everyone watch it. But if you want to just dive into cool robot shit, the other shows that are not Universal Century you can jump into. And I'm realizing that like I'm running out of those, and it's slim pickings. With like the next one I wanted to watch was Turn A Gundam, and I know I need to watch Gundam Seed eventually, but I always hear it's like not as good, so I'm kind of saving that one to just maybe half watch later. But I can't stream Turn A anywhere. I can't watch Victory Gundam anywhere. So now I'm just at the point where I'm just like, okay, whatever Gundam shows I can watch through streaming and stuff, I'm gonna knock those out. So now I started Mobile Fighter G Gundam, which is fucking bonkers. I do need to watch the Gunpla ones too, like Mobile's I can't remember. Something build, or I can't fucking. There's like a bunch of them, but
there's something. Oh,
yeah. So Gunpla is when people put like the models of Gundams together. Like a friend of the show, Panafin, that guy, he does it all the time. Anyway, there's like anime about Gunpla, and then there's anime where like they take the Gunpla and then they could battle it like in a video game essentially. And then there's even further, like, more sci-fi versions of Gunpla like that. They're all digital, and I don't know shit about it.
That's so meta, kind of. That's cool.
Yeah, exactly. That's how ridiculous it is. And I hear that they're good shows, so like I know I can watch those as well. So I'll watch them. There's also the SD Gundam shows, where Super Deformed is when you take like an anime character and you squash into like a little cute version of itself. If the listener didn't know.
Sorry, Chibi, yes.
Yeah, Chibi, Super Deformed, same thing. So SD Gundam is like a whole other fucking thing, and there's like multiple shows, and that's like the game I really like, SD Gundam Battle Lines. They're SD. But anyway, regardless, finish another one, on to the next one, and on and on. But I need to watch some other anime eventually too, and I need to get back on Witcher Mercury. So done with that.
And then eventually we'll go to Tokyo and see the big giant Gundam itself.
God, yeah,
that'd be cool.
Yeah, there's a chance that it will be decommissioned eventually too. So hopefully I can see it like in action, But regardless, dude, if going to Japan will be fruitful and incredible. When we eventually do it, Mochi Squeeze and I have talked about it a lot.
Yeah.
But it's expensive, and it's not like fully open still, so we're just it's cool.
Yeah,
eventually I'll get there.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna wait a little bit too and save up a bit and stuff, because I want to do it right when I go there and just feel free to like go for it, you know.
Yeah. But hey, I do know that my homie Twitch user PJ Julian, which I think he might have a number on the end of his name or something, but that guy lives in Osaka. And so whenever I go to Japan, I'm visiting that dude in Osaka, and I said, you got to take me to some of the best street food you got out there, because I hear Osaka has some dope-ass fucking street food.
All the little like back alley like bar spots that you just get a little noodle bowl and then like a good beer and stuff too. I'm all about it.
Yeah, my friend Kevin went to Tokyo, and like there's a lot of that going on, and he found this like death metal bar in there somewhere, and he said it was badass. So I have to visit that too. Akibahara too, et cetera, but I digress. Moving to another Japanese topic, my Final Fantasy update. I am still playing Final Fantasy V. According to my phone, 82 hours in. Don't think I've been playing it for 82 hours. Pretty sure it's not 82 hours. Because I think when I leave it suspended like on my phone and then come back and the game hasn't like closed on its own, I think it logs those hours in there. But I don't know. It's
like Pokemon Go will do that with me on the phone, where it's like I just close my phone without closing Pokemon Go, and even though Pokemon Go like needs to reboot when I boot up the phone, it's definitely like tracking all those hours.
Yeah. I think the same thing's happening here because of whatever, but like I'll admit it. I've been grinding a lot in that game. But it's because the Final Fantasy V is so okay. Quick story. I don't know how many Final Fantasies you played, and anyone watching this, you may not have played Final Fantasy games, especially the older ones. But the first Final Fantasy game, when you're making your party, you select the jobs of each of the characters, right from the get-go. And so you just pick the party, but then you can't change those, right? So like, you get your fighter, maybe your monk or thief, and then a white mage, black mage, or red mage, some combination of that, like to get the magic in there too. With Final Fantasy 3, you can have your characters change jobs, right? But like essentially when you change their jobs, they just have those jobs. Like you're just kind of like leveling up. It's not until Final Fantasy V that essentially as you level up those jobs, you can actually take some of the abilities from other jobs and like put them as your second ability, right? And then go into another job, right? So it's kind of fun to grind in that way, because you're like, oh, excuse me, if I level up this class or whatever, I mean, job, class, same thing, then I could take like white magic and put it on a fighter, right? So then the fighter's still doing fighter stuff, but can also be a healer, and et cetera, et cetera. But if you master the jobs, then like it also gives you like a stat boost to like the freelancer class, which is like the starting class, and then you can equip like more active ones on that than you could normally like on other ones. Plus every passive ability you get from the jobs automatically are active. So essentially as you're leveling up, you're also buffing up this other class, which has been in the game since the very beginning of the game. And then it also gives you the ability to like have extra abilities in there. So it's like, it's fun to grind, because I'm like,
that's cool.
I'm learning all these abilities and I can like use them in different ways later. That's what got me with Final Fantasy Tactics Advanced when I played those. I would just like get into a fucking loop of like fighting battles because I want to level up these people and jobs and be able to like use other abilities and stuff. And I don't know, that shit's addicting to me. So Final Fantasy V.
It sounds like a more like diverse way to, or like a more dynamic way to progress your party, so it's not just like, okay, this guy's healing spells slightly more powerful now. It's like the character themselves becomes kind of individual, which is cool.
Yeah, and all the characters are like that. So literally, you just like no one is better at anything. That I don't think their stats are different at the very beginning. Like they're the same character, So then it's kind of up to you to like say, well, I want this character to be the thief, or I did that to that character, and then she became the ninja. Right, so she's doing all these agile things, and then I gave her the bard job, so then she could take the singing ability back to being a ninja. So then I could cast the spell song, whatever, to like stop the enemies, which like literally stops them in time. So like it made these sections really easy because you just like at the beginning of every fight you have her play the fucking stop song, stops all the enemies. They can't do anything, and you just pummel them. And so it just made it really simple. You know what I mean? And she's awesome. The cool thing about ninjas is they can equip 2 weapons. And if you max out ninjas, you can take dual wield and then put it on other classes. So then you can like put it on like a fighter or something who has big ass swords or whatever. And now you're using 2 of them and being super OP. Or like the red mage, you can get dual cast. So then, you know, you can use dual cast to summon 2 different things in one turn, or like cast 2 like badass black magic spells, you know, at once, etc., etc. So I'm building up to all that. Final Fantasy V has really got its hooks in me. It's a lot of fun, and it's on my phone. So
that's cool, man. Is this one of the pixel remasters, or is it?
No, yeah, it's the Final Fantasy V pixel remaster, because 3 and 4, which I played through, were the DS versions, because they made like 3D versions of them that, you know, you can't play these games in 3D any other way. So I figured I'll play those versions. But now playing the pixel remaster of 5, I'm like, fuck. Everyone should just play the pixel remasters of 1 through 6 because they're just so good. Like, I can't wait to get to 6 because that's the next game. And so I'm like, I'm kind of caught. I'm like, should I keep grinding, or should I just kind of like start to pick up the speed and finish this game so I can jump into 6? I don't know. That's kind of my dilemma. The other thing I wanted to call out, I tried Redfall. I know there's a lot of controversy around this game, and I think that we're going to have more of a conversation about this in a sec here. But just want to say, my experience with Redfall, I had decent enough fun, but full disclosure, I haven't played like an FPS game like Far Cry in a while, and it kind of scratches that itch to some degree. I like the fact that it's like a vampire game, so it's like got horror stuff going on. The character models are cheap looking, you know, it really does feel like a half-cooked game. There's a lot of emptiness in the open world, but just exploring the world itself is kind of interesting. Kind of feels like you're playing Fallout 4 with the way that things animate and kind of move a bit, where it kind of feels like slow and kind of stiff, but worked good enough on my PC. I want to try co-op out. If you have Game Pass, maybe try it out. But I don't know, for me it's like I didn't hate it. Like I was going in thinking this is gonna suck, and then I played it for like maybe 2 hours and I was like, that was kind of fun. I don't know, maybe I'll play it again. So
maybe we'll have some fun playing some co-op.
I just want to at least try it out. I feel like one day, and this happens a lot with Microsoft games, one day it'll be updated enough to where it'll be like probably a good game, but by then it's like we will all already been playing Starfield and, you know, Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, and Spider-Man 2,
Final Fantasy 16,
Final Fantasy, all these amazing games that were like Redfall. What's that again? Oh yeah, that one game everyone laughed about. It's unfortunate, but there was something else too, but I can't really remember, so I'm gonna kick it to you, man. What you been nerding out on?
I have been nerding out on, well, I'll do a little quick Fortnite update since I've been talking about that a lot lately. We played some Fortnite last night, actually. They had a new Star Wars update where they added in like Anakin Skywalker, Darth Maul, Obi-Wan, and Padme, I think. And you can like go learn Force powers from them in the world. They give you a lightsaber, and then like, you know, Anakin has pull, Obi-Wan has push, Darth Maul has what, like throw rocks or something? I forget what it is.
Anyway, I don't know. I think it's like Crush or something. It does some weird shit. Yeah.
I just know I got like some giant rocks launched at me yesterday.
That did. Cool. It is it's a rock launch. You're totally right. Playing the trailer here.
But it's cool. You unlock some Star Wars characters like in the Battle Pass type of vibe. And you can get like a mount, or not a mount, glider that's like Darth Maul's ship if you complete the whole thing, and just some different stuff like that. So it's cool. It adds like a blaster in there. It's kind of a whack blaster, but then the when you're holding a lightsaber, you also get force powers, so you can like double jump and like Jedi sprint, which is cool because this season of Fortnite is all about mobility. Like everyone can go fast with the ODM gear and the swords that they've added in. So
So hard.
it was chaos last night for
Yeah.
sure. I felt like it was like maybe needed some balancing. It's a fun like little addition. It's only gonna be here I think for 20 days or something.
The Star Wars stuff, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but it seems like Force Push is where it's at, because people
Yeah.
are like, I don't know which one of you guys got pushed for like way the fuck away into like some water, but that was hilarious.
I will say the one thing that happened. Me and Ruben played one more game after you guys logged off last night, and
Yeah.
the one cool thing that I did with pull was someone was driving a car and they were like kind of far away from us. It was like that we got second that round too. We just barely got fucked over at the end, but someone was driving in a car like right towards the end, and I just pulled the car towards us, and it like flipped the car over, and they came flying out of the car, and then I just killed them with a lightsaber. And it was I saved a clip. I'll publish it on our Instagram or something.
Oh yeah, do it. Oh,
But it was hilarious, and it was a good moment because I was just like, I wonder if this works, and it was sure enough, like the whole car just comes flipping towards me. It was pretty sweet.
yeah. Yeah,
anyways,
you're a little
yeah.
bigger right now. I'm sorry. Let me fix it. I closed the window and fucked it all up.
That's all right. Power Rangers, you must assemble.
Doot, 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 doot. Oh, are you supposed to be Zordon, dude?
Yeah.
That's amazing. Sorry about
So
that.
I want to. By the way, we never talked about this. I want to watch that. They made that Power Rangers like
Oh,
anniversary
yeah.
thing.
That
It looks cheesy and stupid, but I want to watch it just for nostalgia's sake.
that crazy ass movie. Dude, you know about Mega 64, right?
Yeah, of course.
Rocco Bodie of Mega 64 is like the most massive Power Rangers fan, and it's so funny. Like on their podcast, he was trying to get them all to like talk about it, and no one gave a fuck, and it was pretty hilarious. So
yeah, I was a big Power Rangers fan when I was a child. Obviously, I had all the
watched it.
Megazords, and it was fun. But you know,
I watched it after school or whatever. I thought it was cool as fuck. I remember the Green Ranger with the flute that turned into the White Ranger, and Tommy, rest in peace, that actor.
rest in peace. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, he went evil for a while in the show, and then he like became good again as the White Ranger. It was pretty sweet.
Yeah, it was pretty rad.
Yeah, he got the dope sword cat thing, and then his Megazord became like a eagle. It was pretty wild.
Oh yeah, and then it was like a lion or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it had like a ground form and a
Tiger?
sky form. It was sweet.
Pretty sweet. I don't know. I wouldn't know shit about it, but I'll watch it. Just
Yeah,
you know,
I mean, I think they
I don't know.
made it like intentionally to look like the old show, which is
Yeah.
pretty funny. And so it's like I don't know. I'm interested. It's got some of the old Rangers. They don't have Kimberly, my girl, the Pink Ranger. That's kind of a bummer. But
yeah,
well.
she's moved on.
she has.
That's right.
Anyways, what else about? So yeah, that's Fortnite. Continue to like the season. I'm level 77 now, so I'm almost through the battle pass, which is pretty cool.
77, man. You play a lot of Fortnite, bro.
Dude, this is the first season in a long time. It's kind of hooked me. It's just been because
That's cool.
with having a baby and stuff, I haven't been able to go out and socialize with friends as much. So it's just been a good way to like,
Oh yeah.
hang out online with my friends a little bit, and just catch up. So that's been cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
What else have I been nerding out on? Oh yes, this is the big one for me. I've been playing my Switch a little bit more too, just because at night when I'm feeding Maya or something, I can have a Switch while she's just kind of chilling and or laying in my lap or whatever. Or it's just been like something I can put down easily and just kind of that sort of thing. So I've been playing like some turn-based RPGs, and then I started up Disco Elysium.
Oh yeah.
Which is a cool, weird RPG. It's very much like kind of 5e-ish, like D&D-ish, where it's like there's very obvious roll checks for all these different attributes, but the attributes are weird. They're like they're kind of similar in some ways to D&D rules, but they're like it'll be like a sarcasm check, like can you pull off like being sarcastic to this person, or can you pull off being flirtatious to this girl? But it's super self-deprecating, and it's like the guy who you're playing is like a total alcoholic, like unreliable narrator, and So sometimes it's just like, wait, did you actually say that to the person, or like, are you remembering that correctly, or are you totally full of shit? Like you don't really know. You wake up with amnesia, and you have to. There's a dead body, and you're apparently a detective, but I'm kind of suspicious that maybe you're not even a detective.
Ah,
Um,
interesting.
I don't know. Yeah, I haven't gotten like I'm pretty far, but I don't think I've gotten like that far through the game. But
No,
again, you're an alcoholic and you keep
no
having these
spoilers.
blackouts.
No
So
spoilers.
it's kind of like no spoilers. I don't know. I honestly don't know. But yeah, you keep having these blackouts and stuff. So like there could be all this shit that's happening. Like maybe you killed the person. You don't know. Like this is questions that come up right in the beginning of the game, so it's not
Yeah.
spoiling.
Yeah, and I hear it's like less about like combat and stuff and more about just situations and skill checks, right?
Yeah, the one time I got into combat, there was this little kid, and he was throwing rocks at the dead body that I was investigating. And I went over and told him to stop, and he threw a rock at my head, and I died.
Murdered
and
by a child.
yeah, it's pretty funny. And if you know, you obviously can reload your save like you can in RPGs and stuff, but like if
Yeah.
you die, like that's the end of the game.
You die.
I mean, like you can reload the save
Yeah.
earliest or whatever. But it's
Save
funny
scumming,
when
baby.
you die, like yeah, when you die, like it'll like actually go through and it'll kind of be like there's a little thing where like your inner voice talks to you, and this happens a lot, not just at death, but it's kind of like, oh, everything's quiet now, it feels really good, and it's like, do you want to embrace the quiet or like fight against it? Like there was one more thing I wanted to do type of thing. And so the first time it happened, I was just like, oh yeah, embrace the quiet, see what happens, and then it's just like you died. I'm like, oh damn it.
Oh man.
It's fun though. It's super moody. The art style is
Cool.
really cool, and it's fully voice acted now. So I think it's nice because you don't have to read endless text. So
What? This game has been stolen from its creators by a fraudster, pirated instead. These leeches. What? There must be some kind of crazy thing happening on Steam. Okay, this is bullshit.
I do remember something about it.
Boo. We'll go look into that.
They bought the rights or something from the original creator people, and they don't work there anymore. Or something.
I see.
I forgot. I do remember hearing a story about that.
Drama for your mama.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I'm glad you're liking
anyways,
it.
I'll end it there. It's been a really fun fun game to dive into. So
I definitely bought it on Steam. It's just sitting there in my library, and I'm waiting for the right time to play it. I still got to beat that Hogwarts game though, so I'll play it eventually. Yes. One of these times. I don't know.
Nice, but yeah, I really like it. I had actually had it for a while too, and just hadn't started it up because I hadn't really been playing my Switch much until we had Maya. So, yeah, I turned it on and it really clicked. Again, the voice acting I think really helps. If I had to read this game, I think I would have put it down already. But the voice acting is like very kind of ASMR-y. Like your inner voice is like a really deep, like grumbly British sounding guy. It's just nice to listen to. And then you have an insane you have a necktie that's speaking to you, but you're like hallucinating that your necktie is speaking to you. And he kind of sounds like Gilbert Gottfried, but it's good.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, the original release of this game before it was on Switch, no voices. No voices at all.
Yeah, it rules though. I'm loving it so far. So,
cool.
Yeah. Anywho, let us move on to our main topic of the show. So I'll punt this over to you. But I just there's been a bunch of stories, and we don't really do news on this show as much. Sometimes we'll cover showcases or like hype for upcoming announcements or things like that. But, we don't really have a news segment because we don't really have time to constantly be researching news and stuff like that. It's more just enthusiasm about what we're nerding out on. But,
yeah,
but there's been so much talk going on lately in the industry about kind of next gen gaming, the state of games as they're coming out. And then also a ton of stuff around Microsoft, which I know you and I are both enthusiastic about.
Yeah.
So yeah, it just seemed like a good time to kind of touch base and go over some of it.
Yeah, for sure. And pretty much my thought on this topic is just stopping for a sec, and just taking a look at like the games industry, like video game industry right now, like what how it's been, what's been going on, and what's going to happen in the future. And let's, I kind of wanted to hit on all of the companies. And I know that like we have kind of a lot to talk about with Microsoft. So let's kind of talk about, first of all, this generation, right? And that's Xbox Series S and X. Yes, the S is this gen, this even though it's like underpowered, but it still will play all the next gen games. But as well as the PS5. But that brings me to my next person here, which is Nintendo. So we're in the next gen right now, and we got the Switch. So was the Switch really like, was that a leg up from the Xbox One generation, PS4 generation? I mean, because the Switch came out after those, right? So I feel like it's still kind of part of that last generation. Am I right?
Yeah, it is. And arguably, I mean, it's about as powerful as like a baseline PS4. So not even really and I wouldn't even say that because it doesn't do 1080p.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, it does on the dock. Yeah.
Okay,
on the dock.
Yeah.
So plugged in, maybe it's comparable to a PS4 baseline, but maybe not even because
I think baseline PS4 can still do 1440 maybe on monitors that support it. I don't remember exactly, but
I'm not sure about that, but it's like, okay, so that generation was already in full swing, and then we got the Switch. And what makes the Switch work so well is just the portability of it. But here's the thing, right? The novelty factor of the Switch is starting to wear off a little because of it's underpowered in terms of the video card and like the actual hardware and the output. But now we're starting to get like Switches from other companies, right? And like the Switch's still cool. We all like Nintendo games. We all know that Nintendo gets software right. And yeah, look at those controllers. Those are nice.
Look, I got purple and red. What the hell is that combination? It's weird. It's just because I like it. Other one that I usually put on was out of batteries, but
I like that color set. It's fun. I have the dark purple and gold, kind of like Laker looking one. Currently. But like, the Switch had problems with the Joy-Cons being kind of cheap. I mean, I think I'm on my 4th pair at this point. I don't play it very often anymore, so it is what it is. But just the point remains that like the Switch is getting old.
It is. It's starting to really feel like it. I think.
Yeah.
Like just when I cycle through, I mean, it's mostly for the most part an indie machine / Nintendo first party stuff. But so sometimes I don't mind it when it's certain indie games, but I don't know. It's definitely even just the user experience of it is starting to feel old. Especially when I've got my super nice 4K TV and my Xbox Series X right underneath it, and just like, for instance, Fortnite, I've made this comparison before, but Fortnite on my Xbox Series X is a completely different game than it is on my Switch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And not just that, but like, games like The Witcher 3 just got a next-gen update for Xbox Series X, and it looks gorgeous. I played through maybe half that game when the update came out. And there's a Witcher 3 on the Switch, but it looks like garbage and it runs like garbage, and it's like, it's whatever. Or you can play Control on your Series X, but you can play Control on your Switch, I guess, but it's over the cloud, and that sucks. Like, there's
yeah, for sure.
It's definitely not the optimal experience for most AAA games.
For most games in general, and that's the thing, like, Here's my point of view, all right? You see this bag I just grabbed? I was looking for something back here. And the problem is, this is my Switch right now. It's in a bag. It's not even plugged in. Dock's not plugged into any TVs. Like, I'll literally pull it out right now. It's just sitting in the dock in a fucking bag. And here's the thing, like, there are games on there that I need to beat, like, including Dragon's Dogma, which I bought because the portability, like, that's what I like. That's what I like the most about the Switch. Like, when I bought the Switch, or when I got the Switch, and when I was playing the Switch constantly, like never plugged into the dock. Like you know what I mean? Like I like my Switch because I'm holding it in my freaking hands. I'm wherever I need to be, and I can play any game. You know, at the time that was incredible.
Yeah, I used it so Aishu could have the TV, and she could watch whatever she wanted to watch, or maybe we're even watching something together. And then I have my Switch here, and I'm laying on the couch, or I'm playing it in bed after we like go to bed, so we're still kind of hanging out, or I'm playing it on an airplane, or in a hotel room. I never docked it either, except for the rare case where I played like Mario Party with friends or something like that. But
exactly the same experience over here, and it's like it was great for that. It was very great for that. But we're starting to get to the point where we're kind of losing that novelty.
Totally.
Like it's
my phone. Like you were talking about playing Final Fantasy V on your phone earlier, and you can play it with a controller, right? I mean, that's what you're doing, right?
Yeah. Oh no, I'm not playing with the controller.
Oh, you're not?
No, not at all. I'm just playing it with the touchscreen. Huh.
Oh, that's amazing. I didn't know that.
Oh, this camera won't work anymore.
Oh, now you're just in the void.
I am the void.
I am the void.
Okay. Well, I'm just gonna be gone for a second.
Okay,
ooh,
right
did you guys hear that sound? That's a good sound. That's a good sound right there.
Okay, I did hear that. I did hear that.
Boop boop boop.
No, but you could be playing with a controller, right? And I've played Forza Horizon 5 via the cloud on my phone, holding attached to an Xbox controller in bed, and it's run well enough for me to win races. So, and then let alone if you have a Steam Deck, and then now some of these Steam Deck competitors that are coming out.
And see, that's kind of what I'm getting at, is that like now stuff like the Steam Deck exists, which is great. You know what I mean? Gotta love the Steam Deck, but it's like, okay, what does that do to the Switch? What's the point of having a Switch?
Yeah, and
you know what I mean? It just for the exclusives, but even then, it's like, I don't know. There's like, there's games that I'm not rushing to buy Nintendo games.
Yeah, I mean, Metroid Prime remaster. I loved Metroid Prime when it came out, and for all intents and purposes, people say it's still holding up. But I don't have any interest in playing through that game again. Not really. Like, maybe when Metroid Prime 4 comes out, that might be a thing. Mm-hmm. Zelda is coming up, but I'm so mad that Zelda is $70 because it's gonna run unless they pull some serious magic, it's gonna run pretty bad.
Yeah.
And or maybe not bad, but just not great,
I mean,
and
the Breath of the Wild ran pretty good, I thought, in handheld mode, which is 720p and not as sharp as on the TV. And like, if it can run about the same, then I guess it's okay. But it's like, it's not like we're getting a upgrade here. Like, you're just getting new software, but it's gonna look essentially the same as Breath of the Wild, just with like new textures and stuff. Does that mean it's worth the $70? And my camera's back, baby.
Woo! Good job doing that on the fly. I tried to kind of vamp in there for you.
I don't know.
But yeah, I just think, there was even moments in Breath of the Wild where, like the Master Sword Forest there, that was super chuggy. Or if I was in a battle with a bunch, like, too many people and too much stuff was happening, it would stutter a little. And then there's like, if you really look at Breath of the Wild, like the art style, yes, is amazing, but like the textures aren't very high res. And like, and if you look carefully, there's a lot of jank in that game. I mean, it doesn't really matter because the game itself works and feels good and ultimately looks good because of the art style. And when you're playing it on a small screen like that, you don't really notice. But I don't know, what if we were getting Tears of the Kingdom, but it also was 4K and looked gorgeous? You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah, why can't I have that?
Yeah, I don't know. And why is that? I mean,
give it to me.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It would be cool. I mean, especially when you look at like people making Unreal Engine 5 remakes of Zelda games and stuff, and they look immaculate, and you're like, oh, okay.
Right. Because I mean, Unreal Engine 5. Like we just got a trailer for this MMO like today, right? I know you saw this for PS5.
Yeah.
I think it's called like Chrono something,
Chrono
some shit,
Journey, Chrono Quest.
something like that. Concept sounds really cool, but that trailer just blew me away by the graphics, and I'm just like, wow. And then we're gonna all spend $70 on Tears of the Kingdom. It's gonna be in the Game of the Year conversation, but then the shortcoming of that game is the graphics. It's the console that it's locked to. It's a situation that we're in with the Switch, and that's the thing. Like, again, I'm not buying Switch games right now. I'm just not like I did get Metroid Dread, but that's like a 2D game. I mean, it's like got 3D graphics and stuff, but it's essentially a 2D game.
And I think again the art style looks cool, but I
fine.
didn't love how that game looked. Like, I
Yeah, I mean, it worked. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just a 2D Metroid. You don't need like the most fanciest graphics to make that work. It would look even better in 4K or whatever. But I mean, there's been a lot of releases that I didn't buy before that and after that. And I will continue to not buy Nintendo games because I look at my other consoles. I have PS Plus Extra. I also have Game Pass. I have a shit ton of games. You know what I mean? New games are coming out. What is it? Diablo 4, for instance, is coming. Starfield's coming. Spider-Man 2's coming. All these new awesome games. Like, you spend $70 on one of those, and you're like, all right, yeah, makes sense.
Hell yeah. Yeah.
It's gonna look and play great.
Even I talked about it being my indie machine, but to be honest, like, so many indie games are on Game Pass now, and I'm sure PS Plus too in some ways.
Yeah, true.
That a lot of times I'm like, well, why would I spend money on that? Especially because some games, like third-party games on Switch, will get discounted, but a lot of them, any first-party stuff is never discounted, almost never discounted. Like,
yeah, true.
I don't know. Even
that's another thing.
Like, we had. No, go for it. Yeah.
No, I'm saying that's another thing about Nintendo is like, they never really have sales past like maybe $10, and eventually, what Jedi Survivor, that'll probably end up on Game Pass one day, at no additional charge. But I gotta spend $60-$70 on all these Nintendo games on inferior hardware, so that's kind of like where I'm at with Nintendo. I don't know, like, there's some cool stuff going on over there on the software side, but the hardware side just keeps me from being enthusiastic about actually playing those games. But I'll tell you what, I do want that Advance Wars 1 and 2 remake, because that looks cool. But it's like cartoony enough, like the graphics don't need to be all crazy, and it's like there's a lot of anime stuff going on the screen, I guess. So I don't know. That's just where I'm at with Nintendo.
Agreed. Well, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I'm one of those guys who's a total skeptic as far as, because Nintendo just plays by their own rule book, and I don't think that we're getting a new hardware anytime soon. Really, like,
yeah,
maybe like a slight upgrade or something, but like, I don't know. I just don't know. I think they're still making money. I think Switches are still selling really well.
They are.
I think they haven't exhausted the IP that they want to put out, because they, like, Reggie once in an interview said that Nintendo pretty much wants to put out like at least one title of like every IP that they own on each generation. And so, like, I think we're in store for like a Donkey Kong game, maybe from
we're getting
one of the Mario teams.
We're getting Pikmin this year.
Say that again.
We're getting Pikmin this year. Yeah.
Yes, there's that. I think they still would probably want to put out Metroid Prime 4 on Switch, because that would be a new Metroid game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Certain games have me. You know what I mean? Like Zelda, all right, gotta get that. Metroid Prime 4, gotta grab that. You know what I mean? But like, it's just not everything. It's a lot of it.
We'll see. We should move on from Nintendo, but yeah, I could see it being a couple of years before we got the Super Switch or whatever it is.
Yeah,
so.
People are still buying Mario Kart. So yeah. Anyway, let's move on.
It's insane. Insane.
So
yeah. Want to talk Sony real fast? Or...
Yes. Yeah. You read my mind. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll let you start, because you're the one in this group that has a PlayStation 5.
So when it comes to Sony, like, I know we can all say Um, they're doing good, right? For the most part. Not
Yeah.
seeing like a lot of missteps. I'm seeing like, okay, so with their PS Plus offering with the tiers and stuff, yeah, I mean, like a lot of people, including myself in the past, have kind of said, "Oh, it feels kind of money grubby," or like just the term like, what is the term everybody kept using, like player forward or whatever, consumer friendly or some shit like that.
Sure.
Like that term was being slung around a lot. I don't know if it was exactly that term. Just kind of like comparing Game Pass as like good guy Game Pass to like PS Plus 3 tiers to just kind of milk money. And so like, here's my thoughts. Okay, I think PS5, great console. DualSense, great controller, doing a lot of really interesting, innovative things.
Cool.
Battery dies pretty quick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That would annoy me.
You just need to keep one charged. The cycle continues. A lot of people cry and whatever about Xbox controllers needing batteries in it, but with Eneloops, like rechargeable Eneloops, I find it even easier to keep gaming than having to swap controllers. I mean, I just swap a battery pack. It's pretty easy. Either way, it is what it is. You know what I mean? But that's kind of the only drawback about the PS5 controller is just because all these things are happening. It's really eating up the battery. But, like, it's still such a badass controller. It does really cool shit. Like, the vibrations, the haptic feedback, the little speaker in it, the fact that it has a mic in the damn controller. So if you're streaming and you're really, really lazy, you could just keep muting it and, like, just talk right into your damn controller. So a lot of really innovative things happening on that front. The games are great. They're coming out with like great first party games. Like, just feels like a nice steady stream. Albeit
It feels like about 2 year-ish or something like that.
Something like that. Yeah, a lot of people are kind of saying, "Oh, this year's sort of lackluster. Like, there's like less to play, whatever." I don't know how these kids find all this time to game this much. I'm like,
Yeah, you're gonna get Spider-Man 2. It's awesome, and you got a Horizon DLC. Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
I feel like the Horizon DLC should factor into all that. Like, there's a lot of content on the PS5 that is, yes, exclusive to the PS5, but also high quality in the gaming space. And if you're a newcomer, having that PS Plus extra tier is incredible. Compare that to Game Pass. There's a shit ton of games on there. Everything from some of the big first party titles, including both of the Horizon games, even the new ones on
cool.
there. We're missing Jack and Daxter though for some reason. That's not on there. I don't really understand it.
There's a bunch of weird stuff. The way that, like, I will say, I think it's silly the way the tiers are. Not for any money reasons particularly. Just like, the premium one is supposed to be retro games, and yet sometimes retro remakes and stuff come out, and I don't know. It's just it's confusing as a person who's outside of it all. It might not be when you actually jump in there, but whatever. I don't really think that's Sony's problem. I think Sony's like, whatever, this is good enough for now, and people can take it or leave it. So
see, like, from my point of view, PS Plus Extra is a great tier. It costs the same as Game Pass Ultimate. You get access to a lot. It just feels like scummy that they're taking all the retro stuff and putting it at even higher tier than that. And then most of those games you're not even really playing on your hardware because it has to be emulated through like a network play or something. So it almost feels pointless. It feels experimental, and it's like, why not just combine those two tiers? But hey, that is kind of a minor thing. I mean, we're just talking about, like, has the PS5 been dropping content that's like utilizing the PlayStation 5's like potential? I would say, yeah, probably in a lot of ways.
Yeah. We're not God of War Ragnarok last year, right? And
looks great. Horizon looks amazing. Returnal, great fucking game. Everybody loves it. I need to play more. You name it. And then on top of that, they're also securing these like side exclusive deals, like Final Fantasy 16 only being on the PS5, for instance.
I'm mad about that.
Really irritating. Yeah, because they just have that kind of relationship with them. Or like,
especially since 15 was on the Xbox, it's just kind of like, oh man, why you got to keep flipping back and forth? I don't know.
I don't know.
It's all right.
I just don't want to depend on I know I can't depend on Square Enix to not be like all over Sony's dick, basically. That's just kind of where I'm at with them. Because even the fucking Pixel remasters aren't even on the Xbox. Those are on the Switch.
I know.
They're on the PlayStation. They've been on fucking Steam forever. Just not on the Xbox. So it's just weird. But like somehow Sony's able to kind of secure these deals. So like I don't like that stuff. But it's a business, and that's how they conduct their business, and it is what it is. Also, just like the side deals, like with Hogwarts. Hey, play Hogwarts here. We have one extra mission you can't do on the other console. And I'm like, okay, well, that's the only reason why I bought it on the PS5. But the haptics is kind of cool, I guess.
You get Spider-Man. You get Spider-Man in Avengers.
You're
like, all right, whatever.
So like, just shit like that is what I dislike about Sony, is just their sort of what feels to be scummy kind of tactics in ways. But like, I mean, they're doing good. They're selling a shit ton of PS5s. They're got a lot of exclusive software that it gives you a reason to buy a damn PS5. But PSVR 2 is a massive failure, and I don't understand why it exists, and why don't they do more with that? I don't know what the fuck they're thinking with PSVR 2.
Jumping in there,
I
like,
don't know.
that's
those are my thoughts.
Totally. Jumping in there, the PS5 is definitely, when people are talking next-gen video games right now, like, they say PS5. Like, I've heard Jimmy Fallon say PS5. I've heard during the chip shortage era, it was on SNL, like, oh, like there was some joke about like, getting a PS5 and that type of stuff. And it's like they don't say Series X, they don't say Xbox anymore. Even.
No, it's not even in the vocabulary.
But I will say, and this is just as someone who likes to follow video game media, and you and I keep up on video game news, and we're on Twitter with a bunch of gamers, and so we absorb this stuff. I'm an enthusiast of this stuff, and I like to watch the coverage of it the same way that like sports fans like to watch sports coverage. I'm, like I know dev teams the way that like someone who really likes football knows like the defensive coordinator on a team, whatever.
Same.
Yeah, but I will say, as much as I like whatever, Sony is crushing it on the actual delivery of products and software. I will say their marketing has been very odd ever since pretty much like they've lost faces and personalities. Like the fact that Sean Layden's gone, PSX is done with, their presentations while showing some of the most banger games ever sometimes have been weird and disjointed and felt unevenly messaged. State of play is really messy, I think.
Remember when they had like remember they had just a block in the last state of play about a game everybody hated? Remember that shit? They're like, hey, everyone, remember you want to play the Suicide Squad game? Watch it in the state of play for some reason. And everyone was like, that was awful. And also like 40% of the whole fucking thing.
Yeah.
Strange.
And then they consistently will not do release dates in state of plays and then put them on the PlayStation blog later that day, and you're like, why? Like, I just don't understand. And then the biggest thing for me, the biggest question mark for Sony is where the hell was the marketing for the PSVR 2? I've like there was no singular state of play about it. Like there was kind of some shoehorned in game stuff, but like no one ever came out and showed you the hardware.
They don't.
Again, that was a blog post. Yeah, I just don't know why you send something like that out to die.
Why does it exist?
Especially when Apple's gonna come in with one this year. Meta is still killing it. I think Facebook in general or Meta, the company, is not necessarily killing it, because of the way that they're the VR headset itself is killing it. You know what I'm saying?
They're full, like, even regardless if they're not really killing it per se. Meta is putting like a lot of resources and time into developing VR stuff. So like they're trying. They're like even if it's not working yet, they are like pulling resources from other Meta / Facebook things just so they could make this thing fucking successful.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
I think their idea behind the metaverse is totally misguided in a lot of ways.
Oasis.
So many ways. I mean, it's all garbage, and the look of it and everything is just all garbage. But ultimately, the experience of using a Meta Quest is the best, in my opinion,
So
the
far.
best VR. Yeah, I
Yep.
mean, it's just it's seamless, it's
Mhm.
easy, it's user friendly. It is
Wireless.
the wireless element of it. It just works straight up, and the games and experiences I still think need a lot of innovation. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like Sony could have had a successful launch. They just straight up didn't because there was no marketing. Straight up,
Yeah.
like
Well,
we all wanted a reason to get hyped about this, and they just didn't give us a single one, in my opinion. Horizon was not that. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
whatever.
I mean, it does look neat.
So, oh no, I'm not saying it's probably a fun experience, and I'm sure there was a bunch of PSVR um one games that I never got to experience because they were exclusive to all the Resident Evils. God, I want to play those so bad in VR. Um, but yeah, such is life.
Ah, c'est la vie. C'est
C'est
la
la
vie.
vie. Um,
Um,
well, I guess we can move on to Xbox, but I guess
do you have any closing thoughts about what Sony's been up to?
I'm very excited for the day when I finally can justify getting a PS5. I just had a kid. We're trying to save money. We're trying to maybe buy a house in the next year or two. So it's like as silly as it is, like I don't feel like I can buy a PS5 yet, but I'll get one eventually. Maybe when they go on sale or when there's a
Mhm.
mid-gen upgrade or something like that.
Yeah, it's not
And
silly at
I'm
all,
excited.
bro. It's your life.
Yeah,
You're trying to
you
live
gotta
your
do what you
life,
gotta
man.
do. Yeah. But one day, similar to the way I did the PS4, I'm very excited. I'm gonna buy a PS5, probably get a couple months of PS Plus, and just feast on some Sony first party games. So that'll
Yeah.
be really fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you get a PS5 and I'll buy you like 3 months of PS Plus extra for your birthday or some shit.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I'll do.
There's probably deals on that shit where you can
Yeah,
pay like
I'll hook you up,
20
man.
bucks.
I'll send you a game or something. I don't know.
There you go. That'll be sweet.
But
Um,
hey, got
anywho,
plenty. You have
yeah,
plenty of other games to play right now, though. Gage,
it's true.
you're
We're
gonna have
about to be dripping in it for sure.
oh yeah, this is the year of dripping games. Sounds like video games has like VD, bro.
Might want to get that checked out. Video games.
Yikes.
I guess real quick before kind of we'll transition into kind of Xbox's strategy, but I guess just kind of like looking at a little bit more of an overarching thing
Uh-huh.
is just, and we kind of touched on this with like things like Zelda and stuff, and I guess we'll talk about Redfall, but I guess just kind of like next gen-ness in general, like you know, I mean, Sony hasn't really had this problem, to be fair, but just games coming out half baked and under like underperforming in performance, like actual like frames per second or resolution,
Not optimized.
glitches, things like yeah. But then also like the movement towards games as a service, even games that aren't games as a service, but like live servicey elements in games being so not dialed, and then also just there's been a plethora of games recently that are just mixed the mark from like big single player studios that are trying to pull on this games as a service element or this continually evolving game. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to talk about that. Jedi Survivor,
Yeah.
things of that nature.
Yeah, it's been happening way too often. It's getting kind of ridiculous. I mean, we look at like Sea of Thieves, right? That launched. That was that was like in beta. That was like or game preview, excuse me.
Yeah.
Essentially, it's like, okay, they made the framework for a great pirate game. You had the basic pirate things you could do, but it was, it just felt like just kind of almost like a proof of concept type of thing. Same thing with like Grounded literally came out as a game preview, but then over time, of course, Grounded came to a full release. Now it has a lot of features, a lot of bosses. It's a good game.
Oh yeah.
Sea of Thieves at this point has so much content that if you walk in one direction for 3 seconds, you're going to find an adventure, some kind of treasure, something's happening. It's full of stuff to do. Halo Infinite,
Yeah.
when that released, it was a campaign with no other biomes, just one biome the whole game, which already feels weird when you play any other Halo game. You're going between like deserts and icy areas and interiors,
beaches and
right. Even just that bit felt like, well, did they just not have the time to make other biomes? But then also like the game releases with no forge, no co-op, no split screen. You know what I mean? A lot of fucking problems. And it's just happening a lot. It's not even just happening on the Xbox side. It just seems like ever since Steam Greenlight or whatever the heck came out, where games could start coming out on Steam and unfinished, even Minecraft. You remember when Minecraft first came out long ass time ago, and it was only like $5 and it was like just the alpha? I mean, it's almost like because of indie games, it's slowly become more and more acceptable over time that let's just release this unfinished game. People can kind of play it and then maybe pay more for it later, to the point where like now they're just like, just fucking ship it. This is a big deal title. Who cares? Just get it out the door. We'll fix it later. I mean, look at Cyberpunk 2077. Oh
my God, I
what
know.
a fucking nightmare that was.
Buggy, and especially because that it wasn't just the fact that game had so much buggy things, and the last gen versions of it were almost unplayable and a completely different game in a lot of ways. The actual, I'd say the actual promise of that game was not really delivered on. It's still I still think it's a really fun and awesome game, but like there's not that much variety in that world ultimately. I mean, like there's a bunch of things in that RPG that I feel like, I thought this was going to be much more immersive than the way it is,
Yeah, totally. Like if it was like, this is the game where I can really, almost like Skyrim. It's like almost like Cyberpunk Skyrim. That's what we thought. We thought it'd be like a dense city. You can go around and like live a fucking cyberpunk life. But it just became this like, it became what it was. You know what I mean? And like, it's still kind of a fun game and whatnot. And Mr. Hawks in chat said Cyberpunk 2077 worked perfect for me at launch. Did not work perfect for me at launch. I played on the Series X. It ran good, but the bugs were like rampant, and some were hilarious, but a lot of them were me like dying for no reason. Just like I would jumping on top of a car and then like falling in this weird position and just dying, and then like realizing I need to reload like super far back or something, and I'm like, no, and
that sucks. I would.
Frustrating.
Mine were mostly cosmetic or weird. Like I would T-pose when I sat in cars a lot.
Right.
The radio wouldn't work in cars. Guns would float like in the wrong area. Like you'd be holding them, but they'd be up here.
Yeah.
Weird stuff like that. Like the cop glitch. I used to have that for sure. Where
that weird shit.
Yeah.
They just teleport in.
But also, I would just say like the driving wasn't very good in the beginning, and they've really like changed a lot of that. And like that's like almost your main mode of transportation in that game.
Yeah,
it's
it's just it's just the concept that we're like we're releasing these games that have like clear issues. I mean, obviously the biggest problem with Cyberpunk 2077 is like it did not work at all on previous gen consoles, like at all.
Things they promised, right? Yeah.
So like it's just the topic of like, hey, what are we fucking doing here? I know, and here's my take. All right, I think that game development has become so expensive, time consuming, and complicated over the years because of technological advancements, essentially, and new engines and new capabilities, that like the game dev process probably realistically should be extended like 2 more years or even longer per game, which means these games are going to take longer and longer to come out. But you only have so much money to make this project work. You need to recoup some of those costs, right? So you got to put out the game and people will buy it, and then people will sit here and go, well, it's a good game underneath all the bugs, but you'll still keep fixing it because you have that now income stream, right? And then they fix it, and then a year later, maybe the game's in the position it should have been, And I think that's what's happening across the board a lot.
Yep.
But Redfall, man, what a nightmare. Like
Man.
Cyberpunk 2077. Hey, at least it was fun and it had cool stuff going on. It had a cool story, and I got to hang out with Keanu Reeves. Okay, had some bugs.
Mr. Hawks is right.
You know,
Mr. Hawks is right in the fact that, like, ultimately the game, as long as it worked for you, and you know, if you didn't get any game-breaking bugs and stuff, the game was there. Like, the game was there when it came out from start to finish. There was a full story.
right?
You know, it was, you know, that was there, and it was fun. I mean, I did really enjoy my time with Cyberpunk.
I did every single quest, dude. Every single fucking quest, side quest, everything. Until I ran out of content.
Yeah. But I think like you were saying, I think the scope of these games has gotten so huge. The promises of delivering across multiple platforms, in, you know, between PC and these other things. Go Knights, go! I think game dev really needs to take a look at what it's promising. I think a game, like, you know, you look at certain, like, the good or some of the exemplary studios over the last bunch of years, and you hope that the culture's good there and that the people aren't being worked to the bone. But like Insomniac, for instance, like Miles Morales comes out and it's like this nice holdover. It's a smaller game, time wise, but every bit as fun and as interesting. You know, using the previous world of the last game, but just with new, you know, like a new coat of paint and new missions, and like I think we need to start to see those types of things happen more in AAA gaming, and for us as an audience to be okay with the fact that a game isn't, you know, or, you know, maybe the episodic thing didn't exactly work for a lot of people, but maybe there is more of that kind of stuff. I don't know. Yeah, gaming development's really hard. I mean, imagine even just as a human being, like, working at a company for 7 years. I think the longest I've ever worked for a company has been like 4 years, if that.
Yeah.
And that's a lot to ask of people, to like give 7 years of their life or 5 years of their life, and so that means there's turnover happening throughout processes within every game, which is tough on a team and on all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it'll be interesting. But yeah, Redfall is a hard one to stomach, because you want to get some wins on Xbox, you know.
Yeah, and we're about to talk more about that. What OXO Cherry OXO in chat said is, I do think it would be more beneficial for games to be released in a series. Would be cheaper for purchasers and could bring in revenue for devs to work with to continue it. And I think like the Hitman kind of formula, how that was working before, or like the Telltale Games formula, like maybe that could work. But I think that, again, it just really comes back to what you just said. Video game development is fucking hard. It's a hard cookie to crack. And I think that, just as an accountant, I think a lot of the problems we're seeing just come down to how much money you have to spend, which over time with payroll, I mean, you just run out. You need to do something. You have to put put these deadlines on these devs, and it's just like, bro, you can't rush art. And then, you know, because you get stuff like Redfall and shit like that. So I don't know. But like, it seems like PS5, you know, Sony and their studios seem to be able to kind of pull them off, and that's what's interesting about it. But that brings us to our, you know, our boy Phil Spencer, Microsoft.
Absolutely.
So I just kind of wanted to talk about the Series X so far as a generation.
Sure. Sure. Take it away.
Ever since Yakuza Like a Dragon came out, which to me was like one of the kind of first cool games to come out on the system, that was kind of new. There was like buzz around it. Here's a few games that came out after that, and like a lot of these are multi-platform. We got the Immortals Phoenix Rising game, which everyone was, if you remember, was like, oh, that's like Breath of the Wild. That's cool. That's fun. Then you got, where is it? Not Mortal Shell. I had it here. Judgment, right? So we had another one by them. We're like, okay, we're getting the Japanese games up on there, you know, finally starting to get some Japanese game devs, but not fucking Square Enix. Then we got Resident Evil Village, which to me was like, okay, this is the first game that will probably push the graphics of the Series X. And that was kind of the only reason why I wanted to buy it. Well, I didn't buy it. A lot of people played it, but since then, what other like next gen titles were really launched on the console? I remember Hood Outlaws and Legends came out. I bought it. I thought it was gonna be cool. No one played it. It crashed. It was a waste of money.
Yeah.
Remember that shit?
Yeah. Yes, I do.
Doom Eternal, the next gen version, I guess, dropped eventually. We got Greedfall, which is not really a next gen title. I don't know. See, that's the thing, man. Remember when the Ascent came out? Everyone was like, "Oh, this game's gonna be cool. We're ready for like the game, right?" That came out and it was like, it's all right. I don't know. I mean, it looks kind of cool. Death's Door came out and really was incredible. But it's like an indie title, right? It's not really pushing the next gen formula, right?
No, it isn't. It's not. You could see that on the the Xbox One and wouldn't think anything of it.
Yeah, Mr. Hawks brings up the Medium, which I played through and enjoyed. A lot of people hate that game because of the tank controls and stuff, but it was doing a cool thing with the solid state drive where it's like loading two worlds, but it didn't do it like enough, I don't think. Like there were just moments where you saw two rendered worlds split screen at the same time, which was impressive, but it wasn't still wasn't like that big like next gen title. But then we got Psychonauts 2, and in my brain, still probably the best Series X game so far.
It's phenomenal. I freaking love that game. Yeah.
It did a lot of really interesting things. I think it also did a lot of solid state drive things where it's like loading another level, like in between another level, like when you're like going through a doorway, which leads into a level, and you look in the doorway and the doorway is just there, and you're like, wait, what happened to the level? And you walk around the door, and then there's just a door, and you walk back in the door, and the fucking level's there again. It's picture me high as fuck playing this game, just like tripping out. Great game. Don't get me wrong. Also, still not an exclusive. So you kind of see where I'm going with this.
Yeah, no, I do. I mean, I think both you and I have always been. Are always in support of the Xbox. I think we just love the Game Pass experience for the types of gamers that you and I are. It allows us to play so many more games at such a cheaper cost. For essentially the price of 2 full price games a year, we're able to play, I would say, dozens more games than I would be able to buy. Yeah, you get some on sale in Steam or whatever and things like that.
Game Pass is huge. Game Pass is everything for Xbox right now.
I've done a video, check it out on Odd Valley Studios YouTube channel about the Xbox user experience. I think for like, again, the type, even just something as far as the value of it, it runs my living room for all intents and purposes. My wife uses it and has her kind of experience for all the streaming platforms and games she plays versus me. I think there's a lot of really good elements of all of it. I think for the most part, other than like we're seeing software wise, maybe there's problems, but the hardware runs really good. I love the Xbox controller. The customization is really amazing. As far as like services and products and all that kind of stuff, I think Xbox is my favorite of all the 3 major platforms. I just like it. I like it.
Jesus, that was loud as fuck. Sorry.
No, it's okay. I'd like to call out from was that Mr. Knox in the chat?
Yeah.
For real.
Mr. Hawks for real. Yeah. I need to edit that. I need to EQ that because it's got the music in there. Well, let me hit it one more time.
For real?
For real?
There we go.
I know they can hear.
But yeah, anyways, but I do think, and like for me as someone who's like a dad and has a full-time job and isn't like a games journalist for a living, we do this for fun, and it's like I'm not really sweating the fact that I'm not getting all that many first-party titles that are blowing my mind from Microsoft. However,
right.
You want to get excited about the next big thing. You want to trust in Microsoft, and when they're buying these studios that are some of my Arcane is one of my favorite studios of all time, and the fact that this is probably a Bethesda decision because Redfall's been in development for a while now. Yeah. But the fact that Microsoft is allowing this product to come out in the way it is, and with all the money that Microsoft has, they just put a bid for $70 billion onto Activision. Yeah. And yet they can't give Arcane the breathing room to get this game where it needs to be.
See,
because of what? Industry pressure? Like, what is the deal? You know, what's the deal? I don't know.
so I can't really remember where I read this, so take it for what it is. And before I say this, let's not forget Forza Horizon 5, great exclusive for the Xbox. But
Absolutely.
it's a fucking racing game, and people don't care about those. So that's
It's
unfortunate.
niche-ish. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that game, though, and I've been wanting to jump back in there again, especially for Cinco de Mayo. You know what I'm saying? Because it's in Mexico.
Sí, claro. Claro que sí.
But, okay, so this is sort of how it's been worded to me. Like, I forget whose statement I believe I saw this information through Jez Corden of Windows Central, kind of making a comment, like retweeting something from someone else. But essentially, Microsoft owns ZeniMax. ZeniMax runs Bethesda, right? And then as well as the other things, id Software, all that shit. It's like all under ZeniMax, right? So essentially, like, ZeniMax is still doing what it did before, right? Microsoft's there. They're sort of like the bankroll.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, y'all need to get this Redfall game out the door. Microsoft, it almost seems like Microsoft was just like, yeah, do your thing, whatever. And ZeniMax is like, okay, let's get this game out, Redfall. And then they had to play it, or someone played it, and they were like, hey, not so sure about this Redfall game. And then some ZeniMax guy was like, no, it's fine, dude. It runs, right? Like, I see you playing it. Just put it out. It's done enough, right? And then Microsoft is so, like, preoccupied with this fucking Activision Blizzard deal that they just were like, oh, all right, yeah, oh yeah, like, let's get the fucking ad people on this. Like, let's get some commercials out. Let's get the whole wheel spinning.
Get the marketing behind it. Yeah,
you know what I mean. And then the game comes out, and everyone hears bad things, and then Phil Spencer's like, let me play this game myself. And then he's like, oh no. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I think happened here, personally.
Yeah. The thing that's tough about that is that Microsoft prides itself on being personable, having people like Larry Herb, who is like interacting with first party studios. And, he always talks about how most of his job is going to studios and talking about their game and figuring out how best to market it and give them the resources they need and stuff. So you want that to be true. Ultimately, I like elements of the fact that Microsoft doesn't butt into a lot of creativity elements of studios and lets them do their thing. We've seen that exemplified with things like Pentiment and what was the other one that came out recently? Passion Project. Oh, Hi-Fi Rush.
Oh yeah, God.
Like it's not like there aren't really good things coming out of their studios. It's just not Sony, and it's even not Nintendo. You know what I mean? Like, so it's just it's a hard thing to like. You can't really defend it in a lot of ways, and you do wonder if there's something, especially with like the Halo Infinite management team all pretty much dropping. Like, you wonder if there is some systematic problem, a little bit.
Yep.
122 and an 8.
122 and an 8. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's just such a that's niche, right? That's from Ninja Turtles movie. That's from the first Ninja Turtles movie.
Is that about pizza? What are they?
Yeah, it's because that's the address of the sewer. 122 and an 8. Where's 122 and an 8? And he's like, you're standing on it, dude. And then he slips the pizza in between the grates. I'm sorry, I just like my soundboard.
Is that from the 90s one? That's a good one.
Yeah, the first one, which to me is the best one.
That's the one. For sure. Anyways,
so,
and then,
there's definitely good and bad with a hands-off approach.
There is, but the other thing that I'll say though about Redfall is, and like you were saying, like maybe it was from Jez Corden, hopefully, whatever. He does great stuff, regardless of whether he was talking about it. Redfall isn't like, or Microsoft isn't the only person or the only publisher who is experiencing these. I think we've been in an incredibly transitional time, or we're seeing the results of an incredibly transitional time in gaming, where these big persistent experiences like Fortnite, like there's tons of endless examples of them, but these ongoing games or these updating games, the ones that were making money were making such bigger money than single player experiences or like typical AAA game experiences from before, other
Yeah.
than outliers like Call of Duty and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Rockstar games, yada yada.
Third party stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, but like there was these examples about probably like 8 years ago, 7-8 years ago, of these games that were making so much money. Probably 3 to 5 times as much as normal games, maybe more than that. Like on these games of service things, on microtransactions, which was all the talk, in 2015, 2016. And so all of these studios like BioWare, why am I blanking? Like
Capcom?
any game, Capcom, all these first party or all these studios that are known for making
Warner Brothers?
Warner Brothers. Yeah, there you go. I was gonna say Rocksteady is what. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Rocksteady.
All these game makers that were known for making these phenomenal, the top of the line last gen games, Arkham, Mass Effect series, even Bethesda with the 76 and stuff.
Yeah.
Started trying to incorporate these games as a service elements, and I think they all just missed the mark. I think they were all probably pressured by the money people.
Always are. Always are.
Always are. And they just wanted to slice that pie and didn't think about the thing. But the thing about game development is once you go down that road, you have to you can't just scrap everything, and maybe you even do, and then you try and fix it like with Suicide Squad. And it just I think we're coming to this place of all these game studios having that learning curve and failing, frankly, and it just sucks because games take so long to build now that it's like there's like a decade of all of these things like Marvel's Avengers and things like that just weren't what we want, and we could have been getting amazing single player story games or whatever from those companies, so.
Yeah, and I think that there's like almost a level of fatigue with gamers right now where we're just like, you look at Suicide Squad, and then you see that same fucking game loop from every one of these service games, and everyone was just like, nah, man.
Nah, man.
Just, I'm
why is
sick
it all
of
this
this
purple stuff and battle
I
pass?
don't care about a battle pass. I don't care about currencies. And like, look at that UI. It's like, fuck. What are we doing, man? And it's like every game is chasing that same money ball, and it's like, it's the people that are going to spend that money. They're already spending that money on the game of choice that they want. They're not going to jump ship to another game unless it's really incredible. And essentially, it's a roll of the fucking dice. Will it work? Will it work the way they want it to? And it's just not working. It's not working. Games are shutting down. Knockout City is over. Fucking what was the wrestling one?
Rumbleverse.
Down.
Yeah.
Fucking even the Smash Bros clone, Multiverses. They're like, that was just a beta. We'll be back later with the real version, and it just feels so like, no, dude. We understand that it didn't work out, and you're backing out, and like, who knows if you come back with Multiverses again? It's just happening, over and over again right now.
And again, this comes from we at the beginning of this podcast, we both talked about playing Fortnite. After all these years, it's still going and it's still good, and the content is new and consistent. But that has Epic Games, which is one of the biggest companies in the world behind it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and they built it from nothing. You remember it was garbage when it first came out. It was a different mode, a different game entirely, and it's been slowly building. So, it's like people need to come at it of like, oh, let's just make a good, solid game.
Right.
First and foremost, fun loop, fun stuff, and then we just build. And if it gets a following, then you build on it. Then you have teams of just constantly building cosmetics and updates and that type of stuff. But it's like this like, we're gonna make a big giant thing, and then it's not giant if no one comes and plays it. You know what I mean?
No. Or you release it in such a state or what feels like an unfinished game to the point where people are just like, I ain't playing that, and then they'll never play it. It doesn't matter how fixed it gets or how it improves. Like, there is a big percentage of gamers that will not go back to Redfall, that will not even try Sea of Thieves, even with a Game Pass account. whereas I know that game is fun and totally worth everyone's time, but it's like almost like video games have a first impression, like expiration date. You know what I mean? If that makes sense.
Totally.
Yeah. And then it's just dead forever. It really is, unless you just have a massive fan base. You know, again, like Fortnite, they just played all the right cards at the right time. You know, they got all the kids on there. All the kids were on whatever social media sharing clips of Fortnite. And then the orange kid did the dance, and you know what I mean? Like everything, all those cards fell into place over time. But you can't just
real quick
come out the door like that, you know?
Totally. And real quick on that point, OXO Cherry OXO in the chat says, they rely on trends and pop culture things and elements and sources of constantly evolving seasons and stuff. But I'm not just talking about Fortnite. I guess why I said we started this podcast talking about that is that what I'm saying is it can work, but not not every person has. Sorry, my camera's unfocusing. Not every game can be that.
No.
People don't have enough time to do that with every game. And that it's kind of these big it's a company that has to have the resources to continue it and put it behind it, and there's always going to be struggles and downtimes, and they have to have the money to back those times. Like, Apex, there's plenty of other examples: Apex Legends, Destiny, even something like World of Warcraft, even Call of Duty, right, is like, again, but there's so much money behind those games. So it's like
there's a lot of money, but people have roots with those games. Destiny, this is the second iteration of Destiny, but like it's also a good game with a great loop, and people love it. Yeah. You know what I mean? It just seems like the games that are hitting and keeping people to play them are like good games. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like they didn't exist just to be a money grab, essentially.
Yeah. Or just to be that service model of thing. Like, they didn't necessarily set out to be that. There was a fan base, and there was people who were hungry for more of them, and so they were able to deliver more of them through shifting their business model. When you look at things like Avengers or Fallout 76 or Anthem, the problem was that fan base who are coming to those studios because of their fandom of their previous games aren't coming to those games for what those games are delivering. Like, you don't go to Fallout just to build a settlement necessarily and run through with friends and kill random things. You go because it's incredibly deep, immersive storytelling. It's like a lonely but exhilarating and sometimes horrifying and really like amazing explorative experience.
Yeah.
And so the fact that game comes out and there's no NPCs and there's no story really, and you're like, what? Like, it's just a big world, a pretty world, but it's empty and glitchy and content light. And Avengers
now it's a good game. Although it has problems, but
yeah, totally. Avengers, we just had Marvel Spider-Man right before then, which is like one of the best superhero games of all time. And then you're so excited to play the Avengers, and it all just feels half-baked, and the enemies are samey, and it's just a bunch of purple orbs and robots, and you're like, this isn't what we're doing, I don't know.
Yeah, see, I'm kind of a unique gamer, and like Mr. Hawks was saying, like, hey, some people do like Fallout 76, and the things you were describing, you want to go, like, shoot monsters with your friends and build settlements. I'm like, I like that. But that's why I bought it at release. But yeah, no, I mean, and yes, maybe 76 does have a really strong community now, and it's still doing its thing. But the point remains that like something's happening with game dev that's not working for a lot of these games, to the point where like I think the plan for these games that when people are putting together service games or whatever it is, their plan is. They need to adjust that where the game itself needs to be kind of new in a way, but also just be fun. And it can't just be like another version of the same fucking game because it works for another game. I think like
totally.
Everyone needs to take that on the chin and really like reflect on that. But at the same time, we're just like dudes sitting here talking about this. And again, like I said earlier, game development is hard. They need to figure out how to make that money. And devs, they're trying to make these games fun. And this is kind of
Oh yeah, no one's out there to screw you specifically.
No.
Not especially not at the dev level. Maybe at the publisher level or in some ways,
the
but
advertisers or the marketing.
Sure.
They're the scummiest people on the planet besides like maybe lawyers, right? Isn't that an old joke? Yeah, go Knights. That's right. I think we just scored. I heard Joy screaming from downstairs.
Oh, nice.
But look, that leads us into our next little bit that I want to talk about, and that's just like the toxicity of the gaming community in general. But
Totally.
just closing thoughts from Microsoft. Before we jump right into that, though, it's like, okay, there's games coming out, mostly in like the smaller indie kind of space we're hitting. We just want that cool AAA title. I'm looking forward to Starfield. I hope that works. And
Absolutely.
I want it all to work out. And at least from my point of view, I'm looking forward to the showcase as well as the Starfield Direct. I think that
Me too.
Microsoft will come around eventually. It's just that like it just isn't panning out, and this generation, like, years are going by now where like people are starting to say they're regretting buying Series X, and that's a bad look for Microsoft. So they need to buckle down and figure this shit out. And I know that whenever we go over that hump, a bunch of games will come out, but I'm kind of getting sick and tired of saying that over and over. That's the end of my thoughts for Microsoft.
Okay, yeah, real fast. I'll wrap mine up too. I think echoing everything you said. I think you're completely on point, especially in the greater gaming culture. However, I'll say that personally, I love my Series X. It's my main console. I have never felt starved for games. So when I get a first-party Xbox game that I can root for, like Hi-Fi Rush, like I'm assuming Starfield will be, even my time with Halo Infinite, I'm really excited for when more games start hitting. You know, Todd Howard, man, he's one of my favorite game designers of all time. I think Starfield is going to be a good time. I mean, I hope it matches the performance that people want. But personally, I don't really go to Bethesda games to be the most high-tech thing necessarily that way. I just want an incredibly immersive world and an explorative, amazing, long, replayable experience with cool, intriguing stories and that kind of thing. So hopefully we get that. And yeah, all those stuff in the future for Microsoft. I'm excited about the showcase, like you said.
Yep.
I still think we're going to get some amazing things from them. I think maybe our expectations need to change a little bit. Like Hellblade is going to be really cool, but weird. The first Hellblade was super weird. Like that game is going to be weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
could be.
The Last Case of Benedict Fox just came out on Game Pass. I'm excited to start that this weekend.
Yeah. Talk about it on the next episode.
Ravenlock just came out too. There's a bunch of good stuff.
Literally 4 hours ago, Ravenlock just dropped, so I want to try that as well. So we're getting.
So there is lots to play. That's all I'm saying.
Lots to play, and Game Pass is the gift that keeps on giving. So they're nailing it there, but let's get those big AAAs, and let's hope they fucking work. God damn it, Redfall! Why? Okay, let's talk about shitty gamers really quick. Number one, why y'all so racist? Why the fuck are you all so fucking racist out there playing Call of Duty? Have you done the prox chat? It is ridiculous, bro. It is like the N-word this. I saw like, dude, I literally saw in the chat one time, like you could see the chat scrolling when you're on the plane. Someone's like, press 1 if you hate Jews. I'm like, holy fuck, what's happening? Like, gamers, you need to realize that you are, like, talking to human beings, and that it's not funny, all right? Like, sure, be a dick, say, like, hey, you suck my balls or whatever. Like, say shit like that, but, like, what the fuck is wrong with these kids, dude? Just, like, get your shit together. Number two, these devs are fucking human beings. The people who, as well as games journalists, as well as podcasters, you know what I mean? Like, just because someone is affiliated with like one console because they like have the just because they have that enthusiasm for Xbox or PlayStation or whatever, it doesn't make them inherently a good or bad person. Why are you treating them like shit? You know what I mean? These people, like, it's their passion, it's their love, and you're just over here trying to tear them down for what? Just because they like the console you don't. You know, I'm getting sick and tired of it personally.
Yeah,
Um, I don't know.
this is art and entertainment. It's not politics or
Yeah, right.
economics really in the same. It's not. These people aren't. You could get this mad at like, a utilities company that's fucking you over, or you could get this mad at the fact that
Yeah.
yeah, like your internet company charges you out the ass and yet it never fucking works, or like
Fuck you,
things that
Cox.
are essential to your yeah, things that are essential to your well-being. Healthcare in this country is fucking absurd. I think
Oh yeah.
absolutely you can be mad at those people,
There's some
and
real
yet you still shouldn't.
problems.
Yeah, and yet you still shouldn't make death threats on people ever.
No.
But
No.
or call them racist words or things like you still be kind,
No.
but you can be furious. But this is art which you're allowed to be passionate about. I think it's a passion, or passion's a weird word. It's something that a lot of people our generation and younger
Mhm.
who maybe haven't learned how to communicate the best, or have grown up communicating over the internet and don't have the same level of respect for internet personalities or things like that.
Haven't grown
But
up.
still, yeah. But you just don't understand it really, especially if it's
Yeah.
something that you love so much. I don't know.
Right. Yeah, it really is that, like, I mean, I feel like you hit the nail on the head. It's like that political energy, where it's like,
Yeah,
look, human beings, were tribal, okay? We're
of course.
pack creatures, you know what I mean? So, like, if there's a banner, you want to be under that banner, you want to root for, like, teams like the Las Vegas Lights, you know what I'm saying? Or maybe you want to root for a different team, right? And we want to
Like the
battle.
San Jose Sharks.
There you go. Or the Golden Knights, baby. Go Knights, go. It sounds like they're scoring a lot. Joy is screaming down there.
Woo!
But it's like there needs to be a limit, man. There needs to be a fucking limit. You got to know when you're taking it too far. And, if you think you're so big and strong on Twitter saying like horrible shit to people, you're not. You're pathetic. You're a piece of shit. And be better. And don't disrespect these people. You know what I mean? Like, they are doing their best, and they're just going to work and doing their thing. Like, without game devs, we wouldn't have games at all. And guess what? You can't make a fucking game better than they can. And
No, you can't.
you're not going to get games if game devs are quitting because you're making their life a fucking living hell. So I'm just sick and tired of it, and I'm just yelling at the internet right now.
Yeah, and personalities like I saw, Paris Lily of the Kind of Funny Xcast and Spawn on Me and all that kind of stuff. Or not Spawn on Me, Gamertag Radio. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's right. You were thinking of cock and
good
Cock
overall.
and cook.
Overall,
Cock and cook.
Cock and cook.
Yeah.
Overall, just seemingly good human being.
Yeah.
Father. Someone who's out there and putting himself out there to talk about. He's always in Twitter Spaces. He's, he's a nuanced character, right? And he's allowed to have his own opinions. He happens to skew Xbox heavy because of just his history with the console and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, but he was talking about all the hate he was getting and all the garbage that was being spit in the comments and stuff. We shouldn't not want to live in the comments. It's fun. It's like you and I have a really cool part of Twitter where we talk to people with like-minded or like-minded interests and things like that. And sometimes I have so much fun on Twitter in our little space, so it sucks when people have to feel like they're going to say a statement and just get fucking hate and garbage thrown towards them,
If our space got even a little bigger, like, it would start to become that, though. And that's kind of what I'm rallying against. It's like, be better, man. Be better.
Yep.
You could be you could be like, I love a PS5, and I don't like the Xbox. And I'll be like, well, that kind of sucks, but we're cool. Whatever. Yeah. That's your opinion.
You can say Redfall didn't meet my expectations and I'm bummed about it, or I don't like this game, or
I'm disappointed.
You can say legitimate constructive criticisms like this game should. We did a bunch of criticizing just now, but I would never say that those devs are shitty people, or I mean there might be some shitty people, but like but I'm just saying, like, Blizzard. I would never come at them personally for that, or I would never. I don't know.
Yeah, no death threats over a video game, man. What the fuck?
Sure. it's one thing if, you feel like you wasted money on a thing or, some corporate kind of bullshit and you end up paying the price for it or something like that.
Yeah.
I understand why you might feel slighted by that, but just treat people well because there's no reason, and you can go through the proper channels to make a complaint if you want. Like, there's nothing wrong with that,
get
like,
a refund. Right.
I bought a snowboard from a company that I love. It broke the first time I rode it for something that I felt like it shouldn't have broke. I wrote a perfectly professional letter to those people, and they sent me a new snowboard. So like, yeah, like you can do the right thing, like, and still, and then not harp on it on Twitter. And in fact, now I think that company is still one of my favorite companies because they did the right thing and remedied it, whatever.
Yeah, I think you're allowed to be mad about stuff and shit talk or whatever,
Totally.
but I just what I don't like is the glee that I see in some people online when it's like, oh, Redfall came out and it was shitty. Perfect. I hate Xbox. And it's like, oh, so you're just going to celebrate someone's fucking financial failure essentially just because
you're like, how do you have time?
you belong to the other club. You know what I'm saying? So that's the kind of shit that makes me sick. Because these people are going to work just like you every day, unless you're a basement dweller, incel type, sure. But they're just going to work. They're doing their best. You know what I mean? And you shouldn't be celebrating that kind of stuff. So do better, man. But of course, hold people accountable. That's fair. You'd be like, hey, Arcane, I'm not happy with this game. This game was crappy. You know what I mean? I expect more from Game Pass. Blah 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 blah. You could at them and you could express your dissatisfaction, but no one should be happy about that.
Yeah, and you could always do the things that make people feel better and hear your criticisms in a better way, sandwich it between compliments. I absolutely love the Dishonored series. I think Prey was an amazing game. You make such amazing narrative immersive sim games. It's a shame that this is a departure from that. It's not really what we're coming to your studio for. Something like that,
Right. Yeah, don't call them the N word and you know what I mean, and I don't know what those fucking assholes. It drives me crazy.
I'm stoked on all the I just wanted to shout it out. Stoked on all the discourse in the chat. Everyone's been really cool and respectful and talking about cool stuff, and I think everyone's on the same page, so that's really cool. We are a small podcast that is trying to slowly grow, and I hope that we will foster a positive and respectful community as that happens, and it's something that we're going to try painstakingly to curate. And so I'll just also shout out one of our major influences and one of the reasons that you and I are friends is the Kind of Funny best friend crew and all of that. And I love that this part of the internet and part of this community because of the attention to detail and all that on treating people with kindness. And it's great. We'll be an extension of that.
Great. Typically Kind of Funny best friends are just it's a great community full of people who have insightful thoughts, and we can have essentially debates about stuff and not get all mad at each other. And it's just like you said, people aren't grown up. You know what I'm saying? Just grow fuck up. You should be able to have a conversation with someone, disagree with them, talk about why you disagree, but still be able to get on with them. As simple as that. Unless it's something of your core beliefs, they're a bad person. You know what I mean? You're just well, you're just a bad person. I don't like you because you're a bad person. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, and I'm not really going to get political, but my family and I aren't really politically the same. They say some shit that I'm just I do not agree with that. But I still love them, and I could still hang out with them, and I still respect them, and they respect me. And, I feel like everyone could be that way. And I just want everyone to get along, man. And I don't want people to be out there just so happy when someone fails. Because that's just, unless this is a race, unless I'm physically racing you, and you know what I mean, fine, do that. But it's just chill the fuck out, man. Be cool.
And to be fair, competition is cool. I that's okay. Healthy competition. But any sports person, any professional athlete, well, for the most part, maybe unless you're Allen Iverson or something, Tara Lowens, is going to look at their opponent that they just lost to or whatever, and they're for the most part going to shake their hand and say,
Yeah.
Maybe they're hot in the moment, but they're for sure going to come down later and say, hey, they played a great game, they beat us, whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know, just that in the spirit of that, that's cool. But
Yeah. Hashtag.
but yeah,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
hashtag what?
Hashtag positive gaming. Just remember that.
Love
Put that shit out there. Every
Love it.
time every time you think about something, just do the hashtag. Spread the positivity. Because I feel like the gaming community is just very toxic and very combative about everything. So, I just
Also,
would like everybody to be cool. That's all I'm really trying
also
to say.
sometimes sometimes I think a lot of the reasons that people lash out in spaces like this is because they think that they're going to get attention by doing so.
Yeah.
But I'll say that anytime that I've ever reached out to a personality on Twitter, someone who is quote unquote internet famous or even actually famous, every time I've reached out with something like a positive, sincere, personal or personable, whether it's a memory or like an experience I had with their stuff, I've usually gotten a response. Sometimes a DM. Sometimes I've become actually directly connected to that person, and that is such a good feeling. I do you know who Raffi is?
Yeah, I do know who Raffi is.
The children's musician.
Yeah. Banana phone.
I tweeted about having a kid and how my first concert ever was a Raffi concert when I was 3 years old in Boston, Massachusetts. And I tweeted at him with a picture of the tickets that my parents still had for it.
Yeah.
And I, it was just a good memory as I was about to become a father. And he retweeted it, and then I was able to, it's so cool, man. Like, it makes you feel so good. You're like, oh my God, someone who was a part of my life in a certain way just interacted with me in a certain way. That's gonna make you feel so much cooler and so much better if I don't know, an Xbox game dev retweets you or likes your comment or something like that. You know what I mean? Then
yeah, man.
Than getting blocked by some internet personality, probably. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, the game dev is the last thing I'm gonna say on this. I forget his name exactly because he's a Japanese guy, but the guy who makes all those beat 'em up games, Kasuga something. Fuck. What's the one where the witch chick has a gun feet?
Oh yeah.
What's that?
Bayonetta.
It's a fucking dev. What's the name of the dev at least? Do you remember?
Oh well, it's actually I don't know who makes
oh my God. Anyway, they got that guy.
Sorry.
That guy apparently Kamiya. That's his name. It's Kamiya.
Kamiya, yeah.
He'll block you, just cause. So that's more of an honor. That's more of an honor. I think it's Kamiya. I'm sorry, everyone.
Yeah.
Anyway, point is, be cool. Let's all be cool. Let's all have fun. Let's all respect each other. And video games are cool,
Yeah.
We'll stick to that. And
that was a really fun conversation.
Hideki Kamiya, thank you so much, Mr. Hawks. At least I remembered his last name on my own. I digress, man. I'm just looking forward to this year and all the cool games we're gonna get. I don't know about movies. I feel like movies are kind of slouching a little. We got some cool ones, but in the game space,
Dune 2, Oppenheimer is going to come out. Christopher Nolan. Pretty excited about that.
I guess we do have some cool ones, yeah. I'm just thinking more like Marvel. I just don't care anymore.
Yeah, we know. We're fatigued on all that shit.
But anyway, we don't need to spiral into another conversation.
No, it's been a long one anyways.
But this is a great conversation. Thanks
fun one to have with you.
Thanks for everyone watching live on twitch.tv/Neon Pocket Dimension, where you can watch the show live, typically on a Tuesday at 7 p.m. Pacific time. If my mics work, I got the new drivers on the computer. It'll work.
It's all good.
Hey, but you want to watch this shit later? You go to youtube.com/@symbol Odd Valley Studios. You'll find this, plenty of other things as well. They got 5 Minute Gamer on there. I got 4 episodes there doing that stuff with the homie Steven, Singer Bro from
great episode.
X-Interact.
Great 2 episodes this week. Check it out.
Thank you very much. I watched them today just to make sure it looked good, and I was laughing. So check those out.
Me too.
We also got Odd Valley podcast on there. 70 episodes. We got a new episode coming later this month. I believe at the end of the month or something like that. where we drink and we get fucked up, and you can get fucked up with us during the episode.
It's
as well.
always hilarious. Joy, who's a co-host on there, is just a delight, and I think you'll enjoy yourself if you go check it out.
Long live Mochi Squeeze. Let's jump into our endorsements. What are you endorsing for this week?
I also just wanted to say really fast, just little plugs here and there. If you have Amazon Prime, you have Amazon, or you have Twitch Prime Gaming, you could give us a sub if you want, and it's free. It doesn't cost you anything other than your Prime subscription that you already pay for, and we get money for whatever because we are now Twitch affiliates. I don't know. You don't have to do that. I know we're just putting out little bits of content like that, so we're never gonna ask you for your money yet until we're doing more stuff. But for now, that's a cool way to give us money if you want to. So,
we got some cool emotes.
We have cool emails that I made, and whatever. We do game streams regularly. That this between this and Odd Valley and you're streaming, we're doing kind of a lot for a couple of people with full-time jobs who are just doing this as a passion. So it's fun.
It's a good time. But
hell yeah. But endorsements. I am going to endorse. Wait, I had something for this.
I never have anything to endorse. Did I ever endorse this?
Anticipation. He's going to get something.
Legos?
Oh, I don't think you did.
Have you ever endorsed Legos? Well, hold on, I gotta move my mic.
That's okay. That's all right. Wow, is that the Falcon? Nice.
That's the Falcon. I got Scott Pilgrim stuff on it. Let me move that.
That's okay.
Falcon. See, and then it opens up. Check it out.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, you got an interior. You got the interior in here. It's pretty cool.
Luxe interior.
But you gotta build it yourself. So go out there, buy like expensive Lego sets, and have a good time with it.
God, I can't wait till my girl gets to the age where we can play with Legos together. It's gonna be a good time. I'm going to dang it! I legitimately had a good endorsement that I thought about before and everything, and I'm just really tired.
You know what? I'm gonna start a note on my phone that's just endorsements that I could just draw from because I always forget. It's usually a restaurant.
Yeah, I feel it. You know what I'm gonna endorse? Oh yeah, let's do this. This is what it was. I'm going to endorse another YouTube channel, which is like maybe kind of interesting because everyone only has so much time, and so that you might go and watch their stuff, and then you don't watch our stuff as much. So maybe it's a bad idea. But we are going to have a guest from one of them on, hopefully this month. I think it's in talks. I don't want to speak ahead of turn, but I'm going to endorse the YouTube channel Simply Sassy. It is another group of kind of funny best friends. PJ Woodward, Al the Predator Tribesman on there. There's another guy named Gage, which freaks me out.
Whoa. Another Gage?
Yeah, exactly. Ben, Please Be Excited is on there.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it's the whole crew, man.
Please Be Excited? Holy shit.
They do the not KFAF Photoshop challenge, which I have submitted to before.
Yeah.
They're just doing it. They're kind of like the next level up from what we're doing right now, and like not to like whatever. I'm just saying they're doing
Rahul
similar.
On an episode. Look at these guys.
They did. They have a podcast called Out of Our League, and they try and get some guests on there. Shoot your shot, But anyways, I believe we're gonna have one of their co-hosts on our podcast to talk about Marvel Snap and doing digital art and stuff like that. So that'll be cool. Stay tuned to that.
That's exciting. And this channel's cool, man. I like their art and stuff. So looks like a good.
They're doing great stuff. Yes, good stuff.
Nice. Cool, man. And usually I like end these episodes with some crazy ass question, but
Oh, Mr. Hawks, you shout out your endorsement in the chat. What's your channel? Whatever. Go ahead, promote yourself. That's all right.
Just Mr._Hawks182. Check him out on Twitter or Twitch.
Sure.
He be streaming.
He's got his own He's got his own emotes too, so that's cool.
I actually met this guy in person at a soccer game here. He's a cool guy. Cool guy right here.
Oh hell yeah.
Cool guy. Friend of the show. We'll get him on. We'll get you on here one time. We'll talk.
Come on down. Hell yeah. More guests the merrier.
Let's do a soccer episode. or football. I don't know.
Football.
Am I
yes.
pissing people off? Football.
Whatever, it's all the same shit.
All right, I'm gonna ask you one question to lead us out. Okay.
All right.
If you were a Pokemon, which Pokemon would you be? And it's got to be Gen 1 because I don't know any other gens.
Of course, I would be a. I would be.
I
a
don't know.
primate.
I don't. He said we're in America at soccer. Okay, I don't know. I feel like I'm always pissing everyone off. Go ahead. What Pokemon are you?
It's the sport where you kick the ball with your foot and occasionally your head.
You could touch the ball with your dick, just not your
You
hands. Just not your
Yeah.
hands.
I would be a primate.
Ooh, I like that.
Not really that exciting. I just think it's similar to my current existence, and yet I could probably use my tail to hop around. Plus, I'd have those big old boxing gloves.
That
fun.
is pretty cool. I feel like I'd be a better Mankey because I'm so angry, but I feel like I have
nice.
the energy of a Psyduck because I'm just like stressed out and prone to like freaking out sometimes. You know what I mean?
But also kind of low key and chill,
But also very cerebral, because Psyduck's.
Ah, that's true.
Psyduck's very, he's got the mind, the power of the mind. So there you go.
Good question and good podcast overall.
Yeah, I had a great time, Gage. Great conversation. And if we were to give any kind of message overall this whole episode, it's just be cool out there, man. Be nice. And just look forward to the future. RESPCT, baby.
Heck yeah.
All right. We'll see you next time on the podcast next Tuesday. Goodbye.